So how are you doing?
Good.
How did you feel about today?
It was good. I think it went pretty well. I mean, I was nervous, of course, with that, like, coming in. At the beginning, I knew my voice was, like, shaking and stuff.
I could tell that your voice was so shaken. And the kids were so quiet at first, too, which is sometimes a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
So I noticed that you have lots of strengths, but the ones that I want to make a note of is you're such a good facilitator. All the kids were engaged. Like, they were all engaged in the lesson. Your procedures were on point with a 3, 2, 1, and then the hands in your lap, eyes on the board. That worked out so perfectly. Something else, and you called on most of the kids, and I wrote down every kid that you called on, and there was probably 3 that you didn't. And that's pretty good. I know in our pop cycle, but we've been working on your classroom management.
Attention teachers, there's a parent driving a tan Chevy Equinox that our buses aren't going to be able to get through unless it's moved. So if that parent could come and please move their vehicle, thank you.
Your classroom management has gotten so much better. And that's what we've been working on in the pop cycle. Before, you were letting kids get away with stuff, and now you're calling them out. And I know you almost cried by calling on that one kid, but then it's like gave you power, and then you wouldn't let up. And that's really what it's going to take. And you notice they still love you.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I noticed, that lesson was tough because it was Ice Age, having to connect it to that text from the day before. Did you feel like you got a little lost in the lesson as far as like in Ice Age a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. At some points, I felt like it didn't really it was hard for me to get them to answer how they connected the film to the text. I don't know. I felt a little lost on that.
That was, and we practiced it beforehand too, and then in the middle of it, I think the kids were just thinking they were watching a video. And I think I would have struggled with that also. I don't think it was just you. I came up with a way to fix that we'll start doing is on your end goal, which is going to be in that last slide, your objective. If we start writing that on the board, if we annotate it at the beginning of our lessons, and then we can just write it on the board, it's going to remind us and it's going to remind the kids, this is our end goal.
Okay.
And then throughout, we can just remember, what's our end goal, so that we don't lose focus.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
You want to go to lesson 3.
Okay.
This is where we're going to pull out that one book we've already gone, you and I have already gone through it. And can you tell me what the end goal for that lesson is?
Well, I have it. Why did people travel to the New World?
Perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do is write it here.
Okay.
I'll write it over here, but you may want to write it right here.
Okay. I'm gonna grab a pen real fast.
Okay. And so we're reading chapter 3 of the prehistory. And if we thumb through and look at these slides, and I know that we've already gone through these a little bit the other day. If you thumb through, where would be a good place? What do you think would be a good place to remind us, to remind the students of the end goal?
First of all, before we even read.
Yeah.
And then.
Which is good because we put that on the first page.
And then, let's see. We could do it like on slide 6.
I think that's perfect.
Because after like the first paragraph or so, I remember it talking about why. So maybe if we just reiterated it to them, that what they're looking for, then in
Perfect.
the end.
So
they know.
so let's write that on there is remind students. I'm gonna write it right on the slide. Remind students of the end goal. And something that I find helpful is we'll also make a note of it in our book on those certain passages
Okay.
of the book with all of our little sticky notes. And that way we don't have to keep coming back to this
Yeah.
because we're holding this. And since we're using the same book, I'll just make a note of that. And if you will, we'll also write that on the board to
Okay.
remind us.
You want me to do that right now?
Yeah, we
Or-
can. Did you have any questions or concerns or anything?
No, I think that's a good idea.
I think it'll help me too.
Yeah.
And I think the kids will like knowing the end goal, that having that reminder.
Yeah.
Especially, I think it's going to be helpful with essays.
Mhm.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so you can write it on the board, and I'm going to go on and make a note of it right here.